Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So here's deck profile number 2 on my Halloween countdown. This time it's on Harpies. So sorry this came out later today than I expected it to. I was just busy with homework, but finally finished and figured might as well just get this done and over with for you guys. And yeah, let's just go over my newly improved Harpie deck. So this deck's 40 cards, and honestly Harpies is pretty fun. It's not going to be like the most competitive deck out there, just so y'all guys know, but you know, if your opponent's not really prepared for it, it can be troublesome to deal with. And like I said, it's a fun deck. I really enjoy playing this, just, you know, in a casual standpoint. And yeah, anyway, it's just a fan favorite, and figured might as well just show you guys what I got now. So starting off with 3 Harpie Challenger. Everyone already knows this is the main starter. You discard a Harpie card to special summon another Harpie monster from your deck in defense mode. Of course, it's any Harpie monster, so this includes the dragon. Next up, 3 Harpie Perfumer. So this is basically your secondary starter. If you can bring this out with Harpie Challenger's effect, you get to additionally get an additional spell or trap in your hand as long as it lists Harpie Lady Sisters. And if you have a level 5 already, like a level 5 or higher Harpie monster already on the field, you essentially get to add an additional spell or trap as long as it's a different name than the one you already added the first time. So yeah, really good combos here. Next, 3 Harpie Harpist. So this is basically your discard fodder, but it's also your Sandgen into the deck. So this card is sent to the graveyard. In the end phase, you get to add any level 4 Wing Beast monster with 1500 or less attack points. So it's not just specific for Harpies, but it's still a really amazing card. I definitely love playing this. So yeah, definitely a must-have at 3. Next up, 2 Harpie Queen. As you can see, I did get the Lost Art promos. So you discard this to search out Harpie's Hunting Ground, and yeah, that's generally it. It's your terraforming of the deck, and it's searchable too. So yeah, Harpies, definitely something to look into. Also, one thing I do like is that it's a 1900k beat stick. So even if you already have Hunting Ground, it could just be a big body, and the fact that Harpie's Hunting Ground already give your monsters a power boost anyway, it can definitely help you run over certain cards. So anyway, moving on to Harpie Lady 1. This card's name is always treated as Harpie Lady, and it gives all wind monsters 300 attack points. So yeah, definitely another good way to power up your monsters. And of course, couldn't help but putting in Cyber Harpie. I mean, why not, right? And like Harpie Lady 1, its name is always treated as Harpie Lady, so you can't run like the vanilla one if you run these. So just so you guys know, you can't do that. Anyway, moving on. For the 1-0s, 1 Harpie Oracle. It's a good way to recur your resources. So if this card is normal or special summon, you can add any Harpie card that lists, well, Harpie spell or trap that lists Harpie Lady Sisters, or actually, yeah, Harpie Lady Sisters from your graveyard back to your hand during the end phase. And if you already have a level 5 monster out, you can just special summon this for free and get a free extender, basically. Next up, 1 Harpie Dancer, just to get you the additional normal summon. So it's a good way to spam and abuse Harpie's Hunting Ground too. 1 Harpie Lady Sisters, of course. It doesn't really offer much, but other than it does go really well with one of my trap cards, since, you know, I do need Harpie Lady Sisters to use it. And yeah, it's actually not too bad. So yeah, like I said, the card, this card doesn't do anything by itself, but with some of the cards it synergizes with, it can really do a lot. So yeah, Harpie Lady Sisters, not a bad option. So honestly, just 1 is all you'll ever need. 1 Harpie's Pet Dragon, like the Sisters, you only ever need 1. This card's just really good because it gets a power boost, and plus, like I said, it just synergizes so well with the Harpie Perfumer and Oracle. So yeah, definitely something to consider. Just as an extender piece, really, Crusader Draco. It's a win monster since, you know, some of my cards do have restrictions on them. But yeah, Crusader Draco, you can just special summon this to any zone that a link monster points to. And it's a level 4 monster, and I do run a bunch of rank 4, so yeah, definitely something to consider. And of course, 1 Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds. You can easily bring this out with the Simorg Link 3 monster, which we'll get to momentarily. And yeah, that's it. You know, just lock out your opponent from special summoning anything except wind monsters, and that's kind of tough to get around. Moving on, for the spells, I am learning 3 copies of Hysteric Sign. This is how you search out Elegant Egotist or Recurrent, you know, depending on what the situation is. Speaking of which, 3 Elegant Egotists, and oh yeah, one more thing I forgot to mention about Hysteric Sign. Except, like, if you can only use one of the effects once per turn, so, like, choose one or the other. And if it's popped, which you can generally do during your opponent's turn, which we'll get to later on, you can just search out 3 Harpie cards with different names, and the end phase on the turn it's destroyed. So, like I said, we'll get to the details on that later, but moving on, next up, 2 copies of Harpie's Hunting Ground. You don't really need 3. 3 is kind of a brick, but it's just a good way to deal with popping spells or traps anytime a Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters is summoned So keep in mind, this is very mandatory. You cannot, it's not an optional effect. And since every Harpie monster you have in this deck is always treated as becomes Harpie Lady while it's on the field and in the grave, it does trigger the Harpie's hunting ground. Anyway, moving on for the 1-0s. 1 Alluring Mirror Split. I did run it at 2 at one point, but I think 1 is perfectly fine. It's recurable, so figured why not. 1 Harpie's Feather Rest, which basically is your draw spell. 1 Harpie's Feather Duster. And Double or Nothing, since, you know, I do run the Utopia package. And Harpie's Feather Duster is searchable now. Alright, so now moving on. For trap cards, I'm actually running quite a few. 3 Impermanence, which is technically a hand trap. And so is this one too, actually, when you really think about it. Harpie's Feather Storm. It's a mind, skill, and soul drain. As long as you control a Harpie monster, you can activate this directly from the hand. And also, if this card is destroyed, you can add Harpie's Feather Duster from your deck to your hand, or from your grave back to your hand. So you can kind of abuse Harpie's Feather Duster a little bit with this card. So, but yeah, I'm so glad it's back to 1. Anyway, next up, Hysteric Party, which is basically the soul charge of the deck. Some people like to run this at 2. I think 1 is just fine, honestly. Next up, Harpie Lady Elegance, which is the card I was talking about with the Harpie Lady Sisters. So if you spin back Harpie Lady Sisters back into your deck, you get to special summon 1 of each, well, a Harpie from your hand, deck, and graveyard. So you get to summon 3 Harpie monsters. And also, if this card is destroyed, you get to add a Harpie monster from your deck to your hand. So not too bad. So like, there's some synergy there too. Like, if you feel like you're not going to need the Harpie Lady Sisters, you can just pop it yourself later and recur it. If you ever, it just really depends on the situation, really. All right, moving on to extra deck, which we'll try to get through fairly quickly. Starting off with the new synchro monster, Cyber/Harpie Lady. So this is basically a compulsory evacuation device. You can only activate its effect whenever a spell or trap is activated, or effect is activated. So this includes monsters too. So any one of the 3. You can target 1 monster your opponent controls or 1 Harpie monster you control, return them both back to the hand. Or not both, but return it to the hand. So it's a good way to dodge, like, if you value, like, one of your Harpie monsters that you feel like you don't want to lose completely, just bounce it back to your hand. Or if you just want to, like, just, you know, disrupt your opponent, it's also good for that. You could just bounce back one of your opponent's monsters, prevent them from, you know, getting them a chance to really extend. But anyway, interesting thing is that since Harpies themselves don't actually have tuner monsters, this one says for this card Synchro Summon, you can treat a Harpie monster as a tuner. So you could essentially just have 2 level 4 Harpie monsters, send them both to the grave, and it'll still count as a Synchro Summon. So that's kind of interesting, really, when you think about it. Anyway, moving on. 2 Harpie Conductor, also kind of a compulsory evacuation device, sort of. So if a Harpie monster you control would be destroyed in battle, you can destroy a spell or trap. So this is what I was talking about with Hysteric Sign. You can pop it just to protect one of your Harpie monsters and get a plus out of it too. So yeah, definitely good. If a face-up Harpie monster you control returns to your hand, except during the damage step, you can target one. You can target 1 special summon monster your opponent controls, return it to the hand. So you could essentially use this to bounce back one of your Harpies to trigger this card's effect and bounce back one of your opponent's monsters. So you can not only dodge effects and protect your Harpies, but you can also use this one to also do a compulsory effect. So, but again, like, sometimes you might not want to do it that way, but you know, it depends, right? So yeah, but it also goes with Harpie Dancer, since Harpie Dancer can bounce herself back, and you just use this too, and bounce 2 cards at once. So yeah, not too bad either. Anyway, moving on. 1 Gravefly, just a generic link to Wind monster, just to power up your Harpies. 1 Wind, you know, it can search, and also since Drone Lockbird is used this format, you can just get a free Wind monster that way too. 1 Some More, you know, just this helps me get access to the barrier statue, and it also protects your Wing Beast monsters too. So that's the primary use of it. Just as a filler, really, I'm running Mech Knight Crusader Evermax, just for right now, because I actually want to get 2 copies of Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon. I only own 1, which, yeah, well, we're going to get to right now. But Evermax is not too bad, especially late game. So, yeah, like, a pretty tough Link 4 monster altogether. Moving on. 1 Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon. Again, I'd rather have this at 2, but I only got 1 for right now. But it's fine. It's a good card to end games, especially that as long as it has Xyz material, Harpie monsters cannot be targeted for attacks or with card effects. So, yeah, definitely something to get into, really. 1 Lightning Chidori just for spot removal. Tornado Dragon to deal with back row. As I mentioned, since I'm running the Double or Nothing, got to run the whole Utopia package. So yeah, there you go. And the only rank 7 big eye, since you know it's basically mind control, but you actually get to keep the monster. So technically it's more like change of heart again, but it's permanent. All right, now for the side decks. Side deck's pretty self-explanatory. 3 Nibiru for combo decks. Drone Lockbird for anything that's just search reliant, really. Dark Ruler No More if I'm forced to go second. 3 Cosmic Cyclone for more back row. And of course, as a floodgate, you know, goes a match since the entire deck is win. So yeah, well, that's pretty much it for Harpies. Hopefully you guys enjoy this, and I will catch you guys again next time.